We're ready. 6:30. I will call the regular meeting back to order. Let's stand to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for the nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. All right, first up, we have agenda revisions. Do we have any agenda revisions? All right, do I have an approval of our consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Motion carries. All right, first up tonight, we have our middle school student. Welcome.
Yes, so you'll notice, so Sonia, thanks for being here, and Junior has joined us, so new to to this role as a student rep. And so before you share what you're going to share, Junior, could you please give a little bit of information about who you are, what grade you're in, and why you're interested in being in this role, and then could our board members introduce yourselves, give him a little bit of information, like I don't say what grade you're in, but maybe a little bit of context.
What school we go to?
Yeah, why you're interested in being in this role. Okay, go ahead.
I'm Guillermo Plaza Jr., but I go by Junior. I'm a JMS middle school student, and I came to these meetings for like a good opportunity for myself. And yeah.
Were you recruited by somebody? Who recruited you?
David Cook.
David Cook. Mr. Cook. Okay, great. All right. Can we go down the line and share a little bit about yourselves?
Do you want me to start? Do you want to start? No.
Oh, thank you.
All right. I'll go first. I am Sadie McKenzie. I have Cooper he's in high school now. So I've got a high schooler and I've got a 7th grader at JMS. And I am in this position because I wanted to be more involved in our school.
So I'm Jane Long. I represent District 2, so upriver. And I've got 2 kiddos in the district, a currently 3rd and a 4th grader. I do some volunteer work and coaching in the community and just felt like this was an opportunity to continue to make an impact.
Paul Oberg, District 5, think Woodburn Hill, and then all I'm out in our way. Kind of the other upriver, up country district. 2 kids at Jumpyard. You guys would go to school with them. Again, I've coached right over there forever, and I'm like, well, I'm just that close. I might as well go to the district office and just see how much impact you can make on the community and the people and everything like that.
So. Greg Retchless, represent District 1. I'm the newest board member, and I have grandkids that are upriver and grandchildren that are going to be here in town. So we're living here in the city proper now in Washougal. Here to welcome to you. So, and I really appreciate the input that we get from you. So appreciate you.
Yeah.
And I'm Ida Royer, so I represent District 4, which is above Jumpyard and east. I have a son in CRGE, and my mom was a teacher. I just feel that public education is really important for our democracy and our community. So thank you for joining us today.
Yes, great. Okay. Sonia, you reached out to me and you said, so what were the questions that the board wants us to answer? And so why don't you just fill us in? I think I'd mentioned something about give us like an update on how things are going.
Yeah, so Junior's gonna do sports, and then I'm gonna do the update on the high school informational night they had at sports spring break.
Great.
So there's also input from like ASP, other students that I just talked to throughout the day. So first things, I got a lot of positive feedback. I think after talking to some current freshmen, they think it was so much more improved this year. A lot more organized, more opportunities for students just to see what they have coming up. It was a little like, I know this is just me, but it's just like a lot of information at first. And so that's just being nervous, I do think it was a little hard to like navigate. There was like, they told us like, oh, these are the times where you can go see different classrooms, different teachers, but like, you didn't really know what those times actually were. And then it was like, you had to go find teachers, I don't know. But it was really well organized. The clubs are definitely very busy, so it was a little hard to get to talk to them. But Mr. Castle was great, got to talk to the counselors, and then one thing, my vice president shared, she was like, I really liked the student speaker that they had. Forget his name, but he was really helpful. She said to her and like her parents, like, because he kind of talked to parents about how to support your kids during high school and that, and she said that was very valuable.
Great. Okay, so this happened the Thursday of conference week,
Yeah.
right? So right before spring break. And so, and Paul, I think you attended.
That was our,
Yeah. And this was the first time that they've done something like that during spring break. So would you recommend to the high school staff to do it next year?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think just because it's first year and it's like a trial, I think maybe there's a little bit more of a tour of the school almost, like a little bit, just because it was really hard to find like classrooms, those sorts of things. And then maybe, I don't know, just recommend to bring your Chromebook or something if you're a student, because like there's Google Classroom and all that. And there was like all these things you need to join. And I'm like, I don't have my Chromebook or anything to join those. So like, yeah. And I was able to get it actually from a friend later. But yeah.
So that's a good point,
Yeah.
because you don't have your Chromebooks. So you'd have to arrange to have your Chromebook,
Yeah.
right?
The counselors did come later and like when we did our actual scheduling, and so we were able to like input the Google Classroom then. But by then they're like, oh, you already have it, and there were already some like information in there, and we are like, we don't have this.
Yeah.
and you meant like a formal tour, like actually walk you around, because it was self-guided. You could kind of just walk around, and it was a little bit of chaos because you're trying to learn the school,
Yeah.
and then like, okay, I think this is the wing for.
I don't know about a whole formal tour is necessary, but just a little bit more explanation, I think, on like where to go than just like a map. It's like, here you go, find the numbers. You know?
I've heard that from other students too, yeah. It is pretty intimidating, the first time you go there. It's bigger than what you guys are used to.
So I'm wondering, would you see the possibility of this happening in the fall during conference week? It's 5 early release days. It's in October. Could you see having it happen like more than once?
That actually might be a good opportunity. I also feel like for clubs, that'd be just to start getting kids information sooner. Maybe make it a little bit like dumbed down a little bit for that one, or
Yeah.
make that one have like a lot and the other one be like not quite as much. Yeah, I think that'd be
And
good.
maybe that's just the tour, like just,
Or
just
exploring.
exploring the building itself.
Tour and clubs, because right after this you did forecasting, right? So it was really into like, okay, how am I going to fill out this schedule and get my core 24 and everything?
Were there any of your friends that weren't able to make it because maybe they left early for spring break?
Yeah, definitely. There were a few people who like, because our school's usually pretty empty on that Friday and that Thursday. I mean, I was leaving the next morning, so like I was barely able to make it. So yeah, I think either if we have it earlier that week or something when there's more people around.
That's a good idea.
So Wednesday,
Yeah,
Yes.
so I know I pull my kids.
yeah. Okay, so can you help me out with, so I've got some things down. Could you send me, like, just talking with your peers, like some other suggestions, and then we'll share that with Mr. Castle and his team.
Perfect. Yeah.
And I might just throw in what was my idea, but I'll just say it was your idea,
Okay.
or
Yes.
something in the fall. Okay, all right, excellent. Okay, Junior, you have an update for us?
I have an update for like tracks and soccer for
Great.
the boys in the JMS.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of kids at the soccer and track having a great opportunity. It might be a little chaotic, but as soon as like coaches and stuff get a little assembled, then it'd be easier
yeah,
because then they can move on with like the stuff that is easier for them. And then with soccer, people seem to be joining it by like playing around and getting good connections with each other.
yeah. So I think you're aware. So we've introduced soccer for the first time, and it's soccer with Canyon Creek. So it's JMS and Canyon Creek. It's 7th and 8th graders. They are playing on the soccer field. It's not quite ready for like competitions. So I think they're gonna be playing at the high school and then maybe playing more away games this year. And we guarantee that next year it'll be in better shape. So we have the equipment necessary, but the lines aren't there, and it's just, we had recently sanded, so I don't think that is set in yet. So and to your point, it's a little chaotic because we have never had 2 spring sports, I think, together. So probably just working through that. I think yesterday might have been was yesterday the first track meet?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was away meet.
Yeah.
And then it was the first soccer match and that was away as well.
Yeah, those, I think both went relatively well. You know, Tuesday with like the chaotic, yeah, like on Wednesdays, we have like an hour between when school ends. And I'm actually, and there's a lot of people in the gym, and then kids are kind of like in the cafeteria, and it's like you need a bit more supervision, I feel like, for those, but it's going relatively well.
So does it feel like there's more student athletes than last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anything else that you're getting ready for this spring?
ASB elections are coming up. We're getting ready for those. We'll have the 2 high school senators and then all 10 ASB positions. Usually we get a lot of participation for those, and with these 6th graders, I think we'll get definitely a lot of candidates. Yeah, just mostly preparing for that, and then but 2 assemblies in the next month, and then another dance coming up in May. So
Okay, 2 assemblies, and what are those?
we have one on May 1st and then another on June 12th. The 12th one is like where we announce all the winners for the elections, and we do like a whole ceremony and that sort of stuff. And then the one on Friday is just for fun. We just have games, those sorts of things.
Gotcha. And then you said dance?
On May 29th. Yeah,
Okay.
it's Under the Sea. We're announcing it tomorrow.
Oh, so we won't say anything.
Yeah. No, it's okay. All more than a few students know at this point. But yeah, that's our end of year one. So
Yeah.
and 5th graders will be invited. So that those invitations are going to be going out soon.
Oh, really? Okay, that's good. Okay. Any other questions, wonders for the students?
Thank you.
Junior, thanks for joining us. Sonia, good to see you. And you'll get back to me with some thoughts. Okay,
Thank you guys.
thank you.
All right, next up, we have our Columbia River Gorge Elementary Student Leadership Update. Very excited to have our 5th graders here today.
What about place those? Okay, so I've known, I think all year, maybe even last year, did you have a 5th grade leadership last year?
We had parts of 5th grade leadership, but this year we kicked it off from the start
Yeah.
of the year.
Yeah, so Hannah and I have been, she's been sharing what's been happening, and I just am thrilled with what you're doing with this, our 5th grade leadership team. And so when we did a site visit, you made sure to connect us with a number of them. And so I was hoping that you could just, we talked about a presentation, so thank you for being here. We so appreciate that you're here. And so you've got a number of slides. And my understanding is that you have some information to share, right? About what's been going on. Okay, excellent. Okay, so I think you were here, you heard who the board members are. We have 5 board members. And so they do a lot to support you in your role and all of our staff and connect with families. So we're thrilled that you are here. And so just please share away.
We're the student leadership team. We are committed to CRGE. We made a call that during the first meeting that we are the student leadership team, a group of committed students who care about CRGE and want to have fun helping to make it the best learning community possible for all. And then CRGE's mission is we are the River Otter community. We work hard, we support each other, we improve every day, and together we can do hard things. And that's an announcement every morning to get us encouraged. Yeah.
That picture, is that everybody
Yeah.
or most of the team?
Yeah. We just have more people who join later on in the year. For people who work here or either just at that time didn't want to join, but later on in the year figured
Actually, I think that's pretty cool. I would like to join the.
Just, that's what I was gonna ask you. They probably figured that out.
Yeah, so we had a few more people join. So I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's the group, that's where you meet, that's in the main office, the conference room.
Yeah.
And how often do you meet?
Every Tuesday at our lunch recess at 1.
Gotcha.
Get up a recess.
I know, it's impressive,
You guys
guys.
are dedicated.
Fun.
But we also have a mileage club, so that they give that our recess.
It's true.
So we've done a lot of stuff in like at assemblies. We've had monthly assemblies, and then we'd have each month. Not each month, but usually we would have like a special assembly for different reasons. If that was like in the picture, whether it's the Kids Heart Challenge or just something big in our school that we would like to announce at a certain time, we would have a special assembly. The monthly assembly is just we'd have each assembly we would have a certain amount of kids, like maybe like 4 or 5, and they would have the chance they would go up there, and then one by one they would come up and they would speak into the microphone and read what we would plan like before the assembly, before like the day before we would plan, get everything ready, what we wanted to say, who has which part, and the order. I I think that's a really cool experience for not only me but the whole group to get to have that confidence to go up there and speak in front of such a large crowd, which is our whole school. I think that's a really good. I think that's a really cool experience that we got to have. We've had we at the beginning of the year we made a bunch of agreements for our group. We agreed that we should have open communication. That what we mean there is by like we have to work together to combine ideas to kind of get that final like draft. Respectful. We have to make our time focused on one main thing, and all of us have to be in it together. What I just said, teamwork. We all have to be in it together. We all have to be there. Have each other's backs. Dedication. Like be attending all the meetings, just being there at assemblies or whatever we're doing, and just be positive. Just be positive all around every day. Just spread positivity all around our school.
Some things that we do is we like helping younger students, and we like model the outer way, which is be safe, respectful, responsible, and kind. And then we also do like morning arrivals, safety, and connections. So like up at like the front of the building where like parent drop off, some people when they were waiting to cross, we would hold up like a stop flag so they could get across to make the cars like stop, so we could let them across with their kids at school. And then we also do some assembly support, some class meetings and special announcements, some class helpers and leading assemblies and other events like Easton said. We also help promoting positive community campaigns, and we like go to different classes like every month. And some things we did was we were teaching kids about recycling, right? And like Red Ribbon Week, Stop the Bus, school routine resets, Winter Olympics readathon, class kindness bingo challenge, and Kids Heart Challenge, and leading appreciation efforts for classified staff, boosters, and teachers. And we did all that stuff to like help the kids. Yeah.
A lot, yeah, a lot of stuff.
We like what Kate said, we had a lot of really cool events. At the beginning of the year, we took all the all the classes, and we all said, hey, I'll take this class and I'll dedicate all my time to that class. So each, like, we will, if we have a special announcement that we need to get to all the classes, we'll figure out a morning that would work, and then we'll go to that class that we got assigned to, and we would go and give a quick little announcement or whatever that special announcement might be. Some ones we had was like up there they're cycling correctly. Some younger students, even some of the older students still just reminding people, hey, recycle correctly. This I know it's not like a big deal, but like it really is. Like what's going into our recycle bin, what's going into our garbage bin, because we don't have that time to sort through, put all that stuff where it actually goes. So it's just making less work for the janitors and everyone else, just making our world more clean. And the kindness class bingo up there. There's a picture of that. That was something we did for the kindness week we had not too long ago. We gave one sheet out to every class, and they would we had like there's a bunch of different boxes, and each one would have a special like help a younger one, give compliments, help someone tie their shoe, anything that can help someone or make someone's day. And once you cross that out, you would hand it back to the office for a prize. And that last picture up there is the Red Ribbon Week to skip to everyone like stay healthy, like stay off drugs. And I thought that was pretty cool that we got to have that experience to like actually share with our community, like make sure you're eating healthy, sleeping, eating, getting hydration, all the stuff. Like just I thought that was really cool. I also thought this whole experience is a really cool thing for fifth graders. Just to have this experience for later on in life.
Up there we have pictures of the readathon, like boosters put together a poster of how much money we raised, and then they'd cross it off for the readathon. We made posters for the readathon, made them all over the school. This picture of Kaden holding the stuff for us off the bus. That was a big project that we did. We organized it all. There's a plate with a bunch of stuff that we did that we felt like it was helpful for the school. So teachers didn't have to do it.
We have some like quotes from the team that from some people who couldn't make it to our thing here. Just a few things they would like to say. That's a picture we took today with everyone who could make it to our assembly or our group meeting. That's kind of all. Yeah.
Okay,
Do you guys have any questions?
well,
You did a lot. What was your favorite event?
Yeah. Stuff the bus.
I like something else.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah?
also really fun.
And we also.
Of course, Caden did. Look at him. He's.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say.
well, I made one. I mean, if you did.
We also probably spent a little bit more time than we needed to in the mornings. So it was just fun getting all the stuff from the classes and then spending like 30 minutes goofing off, sorting all the mac and cheese and beans into all different boxes and whatnot. So
You guys think you'll continue to want to be like in leadership.
Yeah.
Doing leadership,
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you're running for ASB?
If that's the same thing as this, I don't know what that stands for, but I'm sure it's like this. Yeah,
Yep.
I would definitely recommend it for the fifth graders and to the fifth grade.
I really hope this is something that sticks for our whole community for like this year's fourth graders, this year's third graders, this year's second graders, like when they all get to fifth grade, I hope they have this experience because I know it was like I think it was a really awesome like thing, not only for me, but I know for some like a bunch of the group members.
It's been an awesome thing for me too, because this year I did our September, they had September to do their applications and talk to their family and to see if they wanted to be a part of it. And then we really kicked it off at the start of October. And so I did the September assembly, but then I basically haven't done an assembly since. I've collaborated with them, helped write some of the scripts up and just supported them on all of our assemblies. And the kiddos that aren't part of the small crew that are helping to be at the mic and lead it, they're greeting people when they come in, they're sitting with the younger kiddos in the stands and helping them know the expected behaviors. And so it's been wonderful to kind of, we have fourth graders that help in the office, and we have second and third graders that are part of our kindness and inclusion and action club doing kind acts around school. But it was really great to have the whole year with this group of amazing kiddos that are so committed to wanting to help our school be even better. And I appreciate everything that they've done this year. So we're taking a break for state testing. Then we're gonna take back at it.
Good.
You guys are setting a high bar for the fourth graders behind you.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we see you guys back up here when you guys are in middle school and in high school.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Be awesome.
It's
Any other questions or thoughts? Okay,
Thanks
so-
for being here.
Thank you.
thank you to the
Hannah.
parents.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing it.
Yeah, so I will say that was, like, I had some ideas when I saw you shared the presentation. When we talked about this, but you just absolutely were amazing. That was the best presentation. So thank you for sharing what you shared, for the work that you're doing. I'm glad that you see value in this. Thanks, Hannah, for all you like putting this together. Because like, as you heard, so ASB, Associated Student Body, so that is what we call like a leadership class. So the high school has a leadership class. Jump to Guard has it's not a class that meets every day, but it's somewhere how you meet, because there isn't a class every day, but there's a group that meets. And so it's a lot of responsibility that you have. And what I get a sense is you understand the work you're doing and why you're doing it. And when you talk about the younger students and that you're mentoring them or you're role models for them, that's really important. So we really appreciate you being here. Just thrilled, so proud of you and our parents for bringing them. Thank you so much. And I think we have maybe a brother possibly who got to experience that. Yeah.
You can see exactly when you're in the baseball field or else, so it's been a really good experience. Love that. And I can share also, Mr. Hansen was featured in our, not this week's, but last week's leadership meeting because kiddos asked a question about something that's happening in our district, and I pulled up his communication that goes out to everybody, and we talked about how important communication is and the difference between like factual information that's actually occurring versus like gossip and things you're hearing in a community. And we had a conversation around that. And so it was really helpful to be like, well, let me just pull up this email that our leader sends and that we understand the importance of those pieces and talk about it. So
Okay, so there's something.
Don't eat it all at once, but don't let your parents take it either.
What is it?
I think you heard it.
Yeah. Then you do, give it to somebody else.
Chocolate.
Then- You're making it up right now.
No, go for it, Kaden, go for it. Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, Peyton.
Thank you, guys. Oh, great eye contact during the presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did
for
great.
bringing, Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Them and the board. Imagine what you said. I think you're gonna beat back. Yeah. But you're bringing me toast.
Okay. Just come up front, you're right here.
In front or behind? What do you think?
No, in front.
I think you're right. We'll stand up.
There we go.
Yeah.
You got it right now.
It's much better with girls. So, can the three of you scoot this way one?
I want to center a little bit.
No, go one, just a little bit more this. Yeah, hey, so in 3, 2, 1, the smile. And can we not do the hand gesture? For just do some with and some without. I'll send both of them when this is.
All right, thanks. Thank you.
Thanks,
Love
guys.
Thanks. Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
So nice to meet you.
Thank you, Steve. See you, Steve.
The only thing we have is like, you can.
School board members right up there.
So you can. But I mean, it was a positive thing. We didn't have any of
Let's
that.
do that, you know. I can't wait to hear his graduation speech.
Good luck following that one.
All right.
Again, like the
All
monsters,
right,
like I was
so we've got our legislative, I know, I want chocolate. Legislative
Do
is.
you want me to share the presentation or do you want to?
That's what we talked about.
Oh,
I'm not on the Zoom. I can
okay.
get on the
All right,
Zoom.
I'll do it. Okay, so,
Legislative and state revenue.
yes,
update.
so.
Reports.
So thank you, Shalice, for being here. I want to say that it's Shalice's birthday, so she's here.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I know.
We'd sing, but I don't want to be your day.
So we do have a cake that afterwards, and it was Connor's birthday earlier in the week. So.
21 again.
So it's their cake. Yes, and Paul, I think, Paul's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paul had a birthday.
To go.
Yeah, so we can, I don't
I just
know, I don't know if
didn't
to sing
bring
happy
anybody
birthday,
here.
but we will. Definitely.
Got me a cake.
What Aaron was really gonna say is, Shalice, you got a hard act to follow after
Yeah.
that.
No, I was like, I just shouldn't go.
We
I'll go.
can just go for you. He was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably
We
gonna.
were good.
Yeah.
The handshakes.
Right.
Yeah, they were good handshakes too.
Yeah.
Eye contact, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Right.
so I'm just gonna bring up, we have a presentation for you. And so it'll look similar to you. It's what you receive every month, plus a few slides regarding how we're doing with our budget this year. I asked Shalice to give a little more detail. I know we've been sharing with you, we've had agreed that maybe we didn't need a formal presentation, but I feel like this is important because Greg has joined us. So he sees it's a little context. You may have some questions. There's some additional slides at the end that we typically don't go over or that you don't typically see. So appreciate her willingness to help support this presentation. She put it together and now I'm having a hard time with my,
At least we got you a cake, so.
yes,
Takes up forever.
actually. That is not, I'm gonna start over because that's not what I want.
You just keep coming.
That was a PDF. I don't want to. Yeah, for some reason I grabbed the PDF. I don't want that. Try again. It won't work. So we didn't work on the signal, so just gonna let me know.
Oh, okay. So in your board packet, you see this every month. This one is for the month ending March. So it's where our financials were and our enrollment as of the end of March. So this one is just our trends. So you can see 5 years of enrollment. Our March enrollment was 2,511, really 512.87 FTE. Our budget enrollment was the 2,438. We are down 39 students when we compare to March of last school year, but compared to budget, we're up 74 students, which is a great thing. Our budget, we get that enrollment our revenue is based on our budget enrollment through December, and then January, we say it trues up. Then January on, it's based on our actual enrollment. So in January, if you budgeted too high in enrollment and your enrollment's been low all year, in January, you're gonna see a loss of revenue. And you don't want that to happen. So it's great to budget conservatively and hope it comes in high or really close. Than to be stressed all year because you over budgeted your enrollment and you're seeing a loss of revenue. So we're in a really great place. That's kind of what we plan to do going forward with the budget for next year is to budget conservatively and hope that our enrollment does come in higher than we're budgeting. Next, yep, So, this is just prior year, so 24-25. This shows our trend. So the red line is our fund balance. So you can see how it flows throughout the year. If you were to look at any year, this is really the natural flow. It just might be a higher line or a lower line. The green is the revenues and the blue is our expenditures each month. And then we have a board policy that's 6%. So that's the lower black dotted line, and then a board goal of 8% of the fund balance. And it's based on the total expenditures budgeted. It's how we come up with the percentage. So really the percentage changes every year based on what the budget is. But that's the higher black dotted line.
And then the green, you said revenue in April, there's this big spike.
Yes.
And why is that happening?
Yeah, so you'll see it in October and April. So we get levy funds. They trickle in throughout the year as people pay their taxes. But the main tax months that people pay when the payments are due are October and April. So when April closes and we present on that, it's going to be a large spike. And it's typically a larger spike in April just because of the percentage of the funds you receive in the fall versus in the spring. But you can see the two spikes. And then the fund balance goes back down because it's just that large sum coming in kind of all at once and then slowly coming in other months. Yep. So then this is our current fund balance trend. So the darker colors are months that are closed. Those are the actuals, and then the lighter are just an estimate. I run a fund balance projection. I update it every month showing where we are, what we think we're going to spend, how we're going to end the year. So the light colors are just my projection. So the bars will change a little bit as the year goes on. But you can see the same flow of the fund balance up and down as it goes. Okay, so this is really the same as the other two slides, but put on one slide, and it shows it through March. So you can compare between years, and then off to the side shows shows where we were 24-25 to 25-26. So in March last year was 7%. This year we're at 9%. And I did put in currently the estimate for April, which is 14.25. Again, that is high because we'll get a huge sum of money in April, and then we'll go back down, which you can see when you look at April 24-25, and then how the next month, and then it goes down to 8 as we use those funds that come in. Okay, so we always spend our time talking about the general fund, but there are 5 funds that we use. And so these are 3 of them, and then there's a 4th one on the next slide. But so we have the ASB fund that is run by our students. They submit budgets every year. They approve their own purchase orders. They decide how they're going to spend that money. So we monitor it, but it is a student-led fund. Then we have the debt service. This is our bond payments. So it really goes off the debt service schedule of when our payments are coming in, when we get funds in, and when we're paying our principal and interest. Transportation vehicle fund is the yellow bus fund. So we get depreciation money every August off of our buses. And we use that money to turn around and purchase new buses to keep them all up to date and on the depreciation schedule, because as they fall off, we stop receiving funds for them. So they're on a cycle. And then the next slide is really our second largest fund other than the general fund, which is our capital projects. So we have our capital tech levy. Those funds go into this account. This is where we do all of our building, remodeling, maintenance, infrastructure work. Yeah, and so all the projects and presentations we've done, most of the funding has come out of this fund for capital projects work. So now looking at next year. So currently, I'll present the preliminary budget in June. And so we finalized our budgeted enrollment for 26-27. We're looking at an average decline of 4%, which is in line with what we did last year. The one thing to note is it's 4%, but we're including that we're being lowered 40 FTE in our TK, which isn't something that happened last year. So not including those 40, it's a 3% decline that we're estimating because the 40 is a legislature change. We can't go above it. We're not going to be funded for more than 40 students. And then we just noted that grades 11 and 12 don't include our CTA, which is our Cascadia Tech classes that happen at Excelsior Building. They don't include our Running Start students because when they leave, the funding is a flow through to pay the community colleges, and our Open Doors, which is like graduating that Grad Alliance, and students that go elsewhere.
Shalise, how has the WLA number changed for just your projection for 26-27?
Yeah, so last year I projected 19, which was low. We added in 9 to 12 WLA. Currently we're at 54 FTE, I believe. I'm projecting low because it's a moving target. And as we talked about, I like to project a little bit low and be like, we have money. Then in the middle of the year, be like, yeah.
And we're not adjusting the staffing for WLA. We currently have 2 certificate staff.
Yeah.
And so we're not changing that staffing. We've talked multiple times about if the number increases and those staff need additional support, where could that support come from? We've done a little bit of that this year with that support. So good question on that. And then so I think you all understand the purpose of being conservative in enrollment projection, and it's paid off the last 2 years. So we're going to continue to be conservative. The TK clearly is a big hit to us. And so that's why there's 40 of those that she's identified. The rest of it, I don't know if you have any questions, but you see like how small those younger grade cohorts are, right? So 139, 149, 189. If you look at the 4th grade or the 5th grade class, it's 220. So that's a large cohort that is moving through our system. And that was really the size of our cohorts. Before. So before, 2018, 19, 2017, 18, as we started to see the decline, that's where we were seeing it, is in the kindergarten numbers. So that 220, as they move through the system, we're keeping an eye on them. But once they then go through, then you're going to see that, pretty significant drop. So the conversations we're having in the row, the demographic study identifies that what's current 4th graders, next year's 5th graders, then they'll be in 6th grade, and what's going to happen to the staffing as they move. And so what happens to the staffing is we may have to add a section, and then then they move through, you got to take it away. So that's happening, right? And that's, we're adding a 5th grade upriver to account for that grade. And then the next year, what's going to happen is we probably won't need 3 5th grades. So it's challenging for our teachers and our principals and support staff, because that means that they're going to be moving. And we're going through that right now. So I appreciate Shalisa's work in this, and she takes in a lot of like historical information, the demographic study, looking at that. There's a lot of conversations that happen, and then this has already been shared with our principals probably weeks ago, in where we think we're going to be for next year. Any questions regarding These are next year's
My
numbers.
question answered, but thank you.
And this goes to the teachers and the teachers union too, right? They see all.
Yeah, so Connor shares this information through labor management. Les shares this information through labor management with PSC. We share with our principals early on and have conversations with them collectively, individually. So yes, it does. They are aware, and probably we share it too much, honestly, because it just keeps coming up. The situation we're in. So, and we have been. So, and then the 11th and 12th graders, just so you know, like when they, after their sophomore year, they have more choices. So they can choose Running Start, they can choose Cascadia Tech on site with us, the two that we are hosting that are satellites with CTA, or they go to Evergreen to that campus. Or they go to near Hawkinson where the fire safety is. So those programs aren't just in Vancouver. Again, we're hosting two of them. So it's pretty convenient for our kids that our students that are in within those programs. Then Open Doors is when they typically a student is struggling and credit deficient and needing something that they're not able to meet their needs for. And so that does help for them achieve credits and move forward. And then Running Start, we know the impact that that's having on the and why families choose Running Start. We are offering more classes in the high school that are college credit classes. And so I don't know that we're seeing necessarily a huge impact, but it's really nice for those students and those families that earn credit, those students that earn credit through Running Start or through those classes in high school with Central Washington, Eastern Washington for the first time this year, and University of Washington for science credit. And we're going to be adding more classes through Eastern Washington next year.
Okay, so still looking at 26, 27. The state releases a report that you use to come up with your state apportionment, which is the main bucket of your revenue. And then we take into account our federal grants, our levy, and to come up with our preliminary revenue. So I want to stress this is preliminary. This does not mean this is the revenue you're going to see in June. I'm still working on it. The state hasn't released their estimated federal allocation. So right now I have my own estimate. Same with like just this week, they released their learning assistance program. So lab numbers.
Yeah.
So it's a moving target, but currently it's about 52.7 million. And it's based, the key drivers is it's based on the enrollment decline, the 4%. Is estimating that you don't collect all of your levy, which is common. So you look at what you've collected in previous years, and then again, you might estimate a little low because people get exemptions, they don't pay, levy money might roll in a different year, all of that. It's anticipating a federal grant reduction of 5 to 10%, which is what we saw last year too, and we have no reason to think that's not going to continue. Going down. And then compared to last year's budgeted revenue, this is a 2% increase in revenue. And I noted that because the IPD, so the increase that we're getting in revenue from the state is 2.6%. But with everything else that we have to consider, lower enrollment, levy dollars, federal reductions, our increase is only about 2%. And then we noted that we do have facility rentals where we lease out some of our space. So we have EOCF, which is like a Head Start, ECAP preschool, which is at Hathaway. We receive $15,000 a year in lease for that. And currently we have Cascadia Tech, which is at Excelsior, and they have 2 classrooms, and they pay each month for those classrooms too. Okay, so when we're looking at budget considerations, we pay attention to what we just talked about, enrollment declines, legislative changes each year, ongoing reductions. We focus on salaries, so bargaining, we're currently in active bargaining with WAE. We do have an open contract with WAA for our coaches. And we did have an open contract with PAWS, so our principals, and we just settled with them at IPD, which is 2.6%. So that one is closed. PSC settled last year, so that contract is also closed, but we do have the two that are still open, which makes budgeting a moving target because it's an estimate. And what do you estimate to budget? Because most likely, you know, the budget might have to be done before. So that moving target. And then ongoing, so operations, you have ongoing maintenance and repairs. Our insurance costs increase every year. We're not even gonna know till May what our insurance is. So right now, we're just estimating based on the large increases we've seen in previous years. We have the increasing fuel costs that we've gone back to a couple budgets and raised them because of what we're seeing currently. And then just things we're looking at with our TK funding being lowered by 40 students. We're exploring partnerships with ECAP and other grants that might be out there to help with funding.
Any questions about the budget considerations? So we're pleased that we have settled with our principal group. And as Shalice was saying, that moving target, like not sure where we're gonna land with personnel and labor, that's like locking that in is really helpful for us.
Right.
And that was we appreciate their interest, understanding our current reality. And so again, just wonderful news that we heard over the weekend on that. So appreciate them. And then as Shalice mentioned, like these operations, these costs, as we're moving through the rest of the year, I think diesel fuel is really the best example of something that's we're watching that. It's twice as much as what it was in February. And it is, yeah. So and so our transportation department is also tracking that. But like right now, not only do we have all of our routes that we're running, but also there's a lot of extracurricular activities that are happening, and we're not reducing those. Those are all scheduled, and we're following through with those. But they are more expensive now than they were originally. Those have been planned.
So I guess on the previous slide, so we still have a net increase in our budget, even though everything else is going down.
In our
significantly?
revenue, because the legislature approved a 2.6% IPD, which means the salary allotment they give us is increasing by 2.6%. So it's lower than 2.6% because we're seeing enrollment drop,
Right.
but we are getting an increase in revenue.
I guess I'm just surprised that all the other factors aren't dragging that down.
Are driving it down more
Yeah.
than they are, yeah.
But I think when you add in insurance and MSOC and other
Yeah.
things, you eat that 2% in a heartbeat.
The expenditures are gonna increase, which we talked about in the last meeting. Like right now, looking at our fund balance projection, we're projecting we're gonna end a little bit higher than we planned. So the thought is that this year we aren't doing as large of a reduction because we're gonna use that excess next year. So within the budget, you will see the expenditures be larger than the revenue because we are planning to use those excess funds to get us back where we need to be without doing a larger cut this year.
Makes sense.
And really, we can only do that so many years.
Yeah.
So that's carry over.
Kind of one.
Yeah.
Once you use it, it's gone.
We are like those, the staffing decisions are ongoing. And if you don't have revenue coming in to match those ongoing expenses, that's what we've been going through the last 3 years. What we hesitated to do during COVID. And as a result of that, how we got into a situation where we were 3 years ago. So to that point, like initially we were looking to cut more. We've reduced some of those positions that we were planning to reduce based on a declining enrollment because we're seeing good things happening, and we know again we're in this place where we're relatively healthy with our fund balance. But this is not something that we can continue and sustain year after year.
Yeah, because growing a healthy fund balance is not a quick thing to do, right?
Right.
So yes, we're in a good position with that. Okay, we get a 1 year hit, but that's not something we want to signal every year.
Right. You good with that?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep. We covered this slide, And then I think this is last one or second to last one.
Yeah, so this last slide, legislative updates, talked about this last month. The transportation depreciation is changing and it's actually changing this year instead of next year. OSPI is still calculating what our depreciation is decreasing to, trying to figure out how they're going to do it and back it. So large buses used to have a depreciation cycle, which means for 13 years, we got depreciation dollars off those buses. Now it's 15 and it used to be 8 and now it's 10. So since it's extending, they need to lower the allocation that we receive. We try to project out 7 years so that we have a bus plan. So right now that's kind of just on hold till we see what money we're going to get it.
How much notice did they give us this was gonna change?
Well, so when the legislature closed, because it was on the table the whole time. And so it was a maybe, and then now they're trying to work through, especially because they're not being given, it's not starting next year, it's going back. They're trying to work through how they're gonna do it this year with the least impact, because buses take a long time to come in. So we have already ordered our buses that should come like next April. We ordered them at the beginning of the year, because that's how long, you know, it takes to build a bus and ship it to us, right? So there are districts that might have been counting on their full depreciation allotment and they've purchased enough buses to totally use it. And now it could come and in July, they're not receiving those dollars. So I had to listen to a presentation with OSPI and they're taking so long, so they're trying to figure out how they can least impact districts.
More notice is always helpful.
Yeah, I was like, maybe wait and not do it
Don't
this
go
year.
retroactive with you.
We have done such a good job managing fleet and David and before David, Jesse. So we have our fleets in good shape, such good shape that we have really significantly fewer mechanic hours than we had previous, like 3-4 years ago. So that's an area where we might need to be adding some time is supporting as our buses age, as
And they have to stay on.
this depreciation. In fact, these are the impacts, right? That maybe were considered or not considered, but it does, I feel good about where we are because of our team. Shalisa's work, Chris's work previously, but we have to adjust now to this. And like, so what does that look like? And as you and I think the way we order those sooner than previously, we may get them a little bit earlier. David was like hoping that we would get those earlier, but we'll see. To your point, it does take time for those to arrive.
Yeah, and so currently I'm estimating that this year we're gonna get cut by about 30%. But they hope the end of April and nothing's out yet, so we don't know.
June.
Yeah, probably. And then the last large legislative update is the TK funding that we're being reduced by 40 FTE. So we're moving from 4 classrooms to 2 classrooms. They are going to reassess in the summer and again in the fall to see if anybody gives back slots and then reallocate. But just because they reallocate doesn't mean we will receive any slots, but they will send out a new allocation later if it does change. Currently, that's looking at a revenue reduction of the 443,000.
And that's each TK is a certificate staff member and a paraeducator. Right. So that's 2 paraeducators and 2 certificate staff members. Okay. That's where that number comes from. Well, actually, would you say there's a gap between the funding and what our staffing costs are?
Currently, there is not.
Yeah. Okay. Any additional questions for Shalise? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
Yes. It's a great place to be on your birthday.
All right. Next up, we have our board calendar plan.
Right. Okay. So we had conversation the last time we met. I want to share with you, just take one of these and look this over. So we had talked about You all have you have access to the electronic
Mhm.
calendar. This is a sheet within that document. As we're trying to determine what's the best way to identify these events next year. That board members could attend, signal that you're going to attend, plan to be there. And then, so then we know these are some of the key events that we know about. And we're gonna continue to populate this document with more events. We just need to work with our principals, our leadership team to talk about these events that are happening next year.
Yeah.
Really like the idea of conference week. I don't know who came up with that. It's a great
Yeah.
opportunity because a number of families are in buildings.
Mhm, yeah.
And so the whole idea is that board members to be where staff and families are
Yeah.
and staff,
Mhm.
and versus asking them to come meet with us.
Yep.
Which hasn't been, and we haven't seen a lot of people recently. So anyway, that's just, let me know what your thoughts are on this. Corey's already put this together in that document. So I think it's a really good effort moving in that direction. So,
Thank you for this.
Yeah.
Would we then remove the listening tours on
Yeah.
line 6, right? That's
Yeah.
the plan?
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Love that.
Yeah, good question.
Yes.
One quick add would be, since we talked about it with the eighth grade representatives, would be to add that high school orientation night.
That's a good idea.
Yes,
Put it right on there. I think that's a
Yep.
good one.
Oh, yeah.
Just, I'm thinking of it right now.
you mean in the spring?
Yeah, we have spring conferences and then the youth art.
Right.
And especially if you do a fall and a spring.
Yes. Yeah, I
Because
know.
it's an evening, because I'd like to look at a balance of during the day and then after work
After.
hours.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
Thank you.
for Jane,
Okay.
I did as well. Thank you.
all of us.
So that seems
Actually, all
to
of
make sense. So, and yeah, so we are eliminating
Mhm.
the listening tours. We're adding this in place. I think
Love it.
that's gonna work.
I love this idea.
Okay, so a couple other things that I want to talk about is, so for the 25-26 year, so this year, there was a request recently for board members to attend the last JMS music concert,
Yes.
right? And so
Not just
our
the
last
last,
meeting,
but the last for
last
certainly
for,
someone.
yeah,
Yes. For a
long
long
time,
Yeah.
teammate, Dr. Hoda.
Yes.
So we'd also talked about the possibility of moving next year's board meetings to 5. Well, we talked about a couple different times, like 5:30. I think where we've landed is 5:30. So instead of our meeting starting at 6:30, having them start at 5:30. And then if we have, like, we had an executive team meeting earlier, that we wouldn't have them earlier than 5:30. We'd have them after,
At the end.
at the end. So if you're in agreement with that, then I think then that's gonna be a part of the next decision making. And then along with that, then for our June 9th meeting, which was the request from Dr. Hodab, is could board members make it? If we move that meeting to 5:30, then I think it's possible.
I would love that, because my son is going to be in. that.
Right.
Yeah, I think Sadie and I are gonna both
Okay.
be at
Yeah.
that concert.
So then also in August, then we have 2 more board meetings. We have 2 in August. Then the consideration would be to move those meetings as well to 5:30. So really, we're making the 26-27 adjustment starting in June 9th.
I'm great with all of
Okay,
it.
so that's so future decisions. So other than that,
And that works with your work schedule too.
So did we say we're gonna all go to the band
Yeah.
concert?
I don't know if we had that commitment,
Okay,
but I know
Not your
that
sports schedule, sorry.
well, I would like to be excused because I am gonna go to it, my daughter's.
yeah, I think it'll work. I think it'll work out.
Yeah, we come here at 5:30 and then get out.
Yeah. Depending on the length of the board, but I also understand that, like, that you've already signaled, like, you don't want to miss that last 8th grade concert.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be a good opportunity to strengthen our muscle and being efficient. in our meetings.
yes, okay, so I don't know if you guys,
Yeah.
couple things, well, one thing that I did, we say it again.
So it's also a good opportunity for us to strengthen our efficiency muscles in these meetings. Thanks. And I think I'm excited for our board retreat to kind of delve
Yes.
into that a
I
little
move
bit
that I
more.
host the June 9th meeting.
I don't know about you, but I think you looked right at me. There was a little emphasis. That's why I wanted you to say it down as well. Absolutely, we can improve.
Challenge accepted. It would be a 1 hour meeting.
Okay, well, I think that was a discussion.
Yeah.
There. And I'm sure that if you have other thoughts after this meeting, that you'll share those with me.
Yep.
And this is all really planning for 26, 27.
Yeah.
I'm excited about where we're headed with the adjustments we've made.
Me too. I love it. I think we're making it ours. You know, we've been in the same routine for so long that I think we just assumed that that's
Yeah.
how it was supposed to
Yeah.
go. So I like it.
Okay,
All right, let's see, where are we at here? Proposals for action. All right, no citizen comment.
no, there were no citizens. Okay,
Not tonight. All right, we have revised 25, 26 board meeting calendar times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's for done, right? Okay.
we need a-
Yeah, I motion that
Motion.
we approve all of those times that we just discussed.
I second.
All in favor?
I,
All right. All right, next up, we've got resolution number 2025-2606, which is our modified educational program. This is our second reading. Approval. We're on board. Do you have any questions on that?
is there wasn't a document attached, so is there
Yeah,
something?
we went over,
Yeah.
it's in, if you look.
It's
two
in
weeks-
the email.
2 weeks ago,
It's
it's
in
there,
the-
or it's in the.
I think when board docs crashed, it took it out.
I think it did.
Yeah.
So it should have been in the email.
Okay.
There's also.
See, this is when Aaron's gonna be like, CJ, and this is why I have to.
I would never.
I love it how you don't
See,
even use like, he's gonna stop doing
You know
it.
that Greg doesn't mind having a hard copy.
I actually keep mine in a binder, like a binder that I get every year.
I'm all about the electric.
I never look at it.
See? Flutter. Keep it in the cloud.
I need to have a Jane crash.
So very similar
A
to
retreat.
the
but yeah,
two
help us.
previous years. Just a slight adjustment on the number of positions and numbers, yes.
I do not have it.
So questions about the modified educational program resolution?
Ready? It's right here.
I have it. I have it. Great. This paper thing.
We can take some tests.
Moving on the motion to approve.
I don't.
Yeah.
You wanna look at it?
Give everybody a chance to
Are you
read it.
sure? Okay,
Any questions?
all right.
Yeah, I got that.
We're good?
All right,
No questions from my side.
motion to approve.
I motion we approve resolution number 2025-26-06.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, moving along to resolution 2025-2608, which is our donation acceptance and scholarship creation. Anybody have any questions on this one?
I think it's great.
Yep, I did not have anything. Anybody?
We have to do a second reading on this one. No.
All
All right, motion to approve I can't tell what the resolution is, but the donation and scholarship resolution. Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
That one is on done. All right, resolution 2025-2609, which is the turf transfer. I did not have any questions on this one. Anybody else? I have a motion to approve our 25-2609 turf transfer.
I'll motion to approve it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. I mean, we do it every year.
Yeah, that one.
Bigger discussion.
That one's we do every year. All right. We have our comments for Board of Directors up next. Who would like to go first this evening? I'm gonna go last because Aaron and I are gonna talk about something together, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, first off, happy birthday to all of us April birthdays. Seems to be quite a few in this room. No, I think one of the things that I thought that was really neat that actually happened up at Cape Canyon last week was they're doing their Indigenous people study units, and we actually had some local parents, Paula K. Kuthi, that came in and talked to the kids about how lacrosse came about, and that actually started with the Indigenous people, and like let the kids also experience the sport a little bit. They also showed them some kayaking. So I think it was a neat way to both teach the kids some history that I wasn't aware of until I learned about it. But also give them the opportunity to try out some sports and different activities in this area that I think, when I think about Washougal, I think about water. It's cool to get kids that, if your family doesn't kayak, you still get to get exposed to it and see if maybe that's something you want to know. Nice. So just really grateful for the parents like them that come in and volunteer time with the school.
Great.
So,
Well, I'll actually follow that because I had a question on volunteering, because I've heard of a few people who have been wanting to volunteer for spring sports, but they felt like it was a bit of a lengthy application and approval process in order to actually just show up on the field and help people learn stuff. So hence my question is like,
what is it?
If you want to be a volunteer for the school district, what is the process?
Yeah, when you want to be a volunteer coach there's other additional steps for being a volunteer coach versus being a volunteer in a classroom. Those steps aren't necessary. So all volunteers get a background check.
Yeah.
It's the volunteer coach has some additional training that's required because of what's happening, no matter what the sport is, and the expectations. Thank you. The expectations for those volunteer coaches.
Yeah, concussion training, all that. But I think that there's also like references that need to be called and responded back. And if they don't respond, then it delays it.
It does. Yeah, and I know there was an individual who was a coach for us previously this winter, wanted to be a volunteer coach. It was frustrated with the lengthy process. And so as much as we understand that, and the challenge you just identified is if a reference doesn't get back to us, is we're vetting that individual. It's frustrating because they don't get started. If it's a middle school sport, it's about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
So they miss out. So we want them to do that way in advance because we know it takes time. And it's necessary. This process.
I don't disagree with the necessary. I'm projecting it out.
Yeah.
So
Why?
And I do know, we can do a better job with our coaches, our current coaches, so they know if they want to have volunteer coaches participate, that it's best to do that much further and plan it in advance. And again, we know when the seasons are. So that's the part about those are all. And for next year, we'll know when the seasons are, probably around May and June. And so we could help with getting that information out.
Yeah, even if it's a little email blast that said, hey, if you were considering, you might want to get your paperwork in March.
And then how long is that good for? I know background checks expire, but do they have to, and if it's anything like baseball, you got to do the concussion training every year. But do they have to give the references again every year?
No.
Okay, so that's kind of a one-time thing.
Yep. And I will double check and get back to you on that, like ongoing volunteer coaches, yes.
Yeah, I mean, the background checks once a year and concussion.
Yeah, every year.
Yeah, but you just go online and
watch that video.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Am I up?
Yep, you're up, sir.
Okay, so many good things.
I love
I had my first STEAM visit.
Yes.
And it was fantastic. All the way around, the enthusiasm from the participants, the students that were bopping around. It was a lot of fun. And it was a good experience for me. And I thank you very much. I went on a tour of Hathaway. We went to the dungeon right away.
Well, we call it the basement, but that's
yeah, that's right, the basement. A lot of noise up above it. I don't know what it was. Could have been the basketball team. The flickering light, the flickering light was well placed. That was quite impressive. And I'm almost over the nightmares.
right.
It was
traumatizing.
You're getting uncomfortable, aren't you? Yeah, it is.
And
You've been coaching him.
on personal sports basis, I went to my granddaughter's first T-ball game, and it was great. Yeah, it was great. She was well behaved-ish, and and she's quite the slugger, and they had a good time. It was a lot of fun. And then I went the next day to my grandsons to play golf. I didn't realize that it was a spectator sport when they were having matches. And so I walked the green with one of them, and that was really fun too. I expect I'll be over there more. So yeah, it's a pleasant experience.
Great.
So, thank you.
Great. Ida?
Don't really have anything.
That's okay.
I mean, I made it here eventually, so.
It's a busy time of year. I feel like it's just busy, like everybody's got a lot going on. All right, Teacher Appreciation Week is next week. There are so many emails going out. If you happen to get an email and you want to contribute, I know that's always appreciated, whether it's sending cards, sending food, but I know every school is doing something like they normally do. So I'm excited about doing that at JMS with my boosters over there. Last week was Administration Appreciation Week. And we got to deliver flowers at JMS for that, for the wonderful network there. And I know other schools did the same. Stride is coming up. I've got lots of volunteers. If anybody else wants to volunteer or just show up and be part of the day, just show up, come find me, and I will throw you in wherever you want to go. And Aaron's got his cowbell and he's ready to party.
Yes.
Lastly, Aaron and I got to go to our District 6 regional meeting April 16th, and Mayor Stevie was there with us, which I didn't expect, which was great. I didn't know what to expect. I hadn't gone in for a year or two. This one was really cool because it was growing relationships for deeper impact, and we got a lot sitting with different people. I feel like we got a lot of really good information from other districts, kind of learning how others grow relationships with their legislators and their community. So I feel like there's a lot coming. Like I've been talking about our community members ask us all the time, how do we help? And I always say, reach out to your legislators. And so I feel like it was really around that, which I could appreciate because I feel the same. So
Yeah, there was a number of individuals who shared out, legislative representatives, board directors, possibly I think a couple of superintendents shared.
yeah,
Like how they're advocating with legislative representatives. So yes, some good ideas
for
that
sure.
I think there's some things that we can do. In Washougal, I know Camas has a legislative group that's similar to like our role. And so I think that's something we could consider doing, is finding out if there's some community members, some family, some of our parents that are interested in participating in a legislative advocacy group that meets regularly and meets with our legislative representatives. So as you said, Representative Stevie was there. I know that Kevin Waters, Senator Harris would be interested in participating in a meeting if we requested them to do so, maybe even speaking to the community in an event maybe that's at the Washburn Auditorium. And that they've done that around other districts in different cities. So yeah, some really good ideas. Thank you for being there. And next year, when it's in the area, we'll make sure, like I hadn't been to one before, so I was glad I was there. I'm glad you were there, and I look forward to the next one. And we'll also make sure to start as soon as we know when other WASDA events are coming up, to make sure that you're aware. And so I think this team does a good job of going to those events when you can. This is one that, again, not having any experience with it, I was really glad. We were their first one. And so they go around the state and do the same presentation all over. So we were able to get to see them, and I think probably they'll adjust it slightly. But what I appreciate was there was a lot of engagement and opportunity for us to like check in. I know I met with a new board director in Lyle. And so made a nice connection there. I'm pretty sure that we'll continue having conversations because that's just one of our neighbors to the east. And I think there's ways that we can partner with them.
And it wasn't just led by WASDA, like it was more led by superintendents and other board members.
And the Vancouver board director.
Yeah, and so it was interesting to listen to other areas and what they're dealing with and what's happening and what's good
Yeah.
and not good.
Yep, and WASA is working on empowering others, right? And
Yeah.
not yet, just not their team.
Right.
They see the value, including, directors, superintendents, and he's certainly in these conversations, but putting them into leadership roles.
So,
Well, speaking of
oh,
I'll be quick.
yeah, go for it.
They are calling for presenters at the annual conference.
We've done
Maybe
that
not
before.
this year, but I would think as we get a little farther in our row and how we've approached it,
Good to you.
and as we've broken into our groups and really engaged the community
Yeah.
representatives and all
Yeah.
that could be a very interesting. The little town of Washougal going to the Washington State
Okay,
School Directors Association and presenting resource optimization.
telling our
Put
story.
that out there.
I like that.
Yeah. You hear that, Les?
Tooting our own horns over there.
Well, it's educating, right?
It is,
It's outreach, right?
absolutely.
So when I got the email the other day, it was like it popped in my head right
Yeah.
away. It's like, I think that could be,
Nice.
people could learn of like this, how we approached it, right? Cause
Yeah.
that's literally how those go and go like, take what you
Exactly,
can
yeah.
and make it yours.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, Ida wants to present already. I can see it.
We give a lot of briefs. I was just thinking, so we had talked about inviting our legislators.
Yes.
So maybe we could, as we fill this out, we could identify a few things. Like
Yep.
the industry fair, I know
It's a great one.
our Representative Waters is a small businessman, so
Yeah.
I don't know, just trying to match.
Yep.
Uh,
Yes.
Look at us, ideas.
Efficiency.
Yes, efficiency, mutually beneficial.
Yes.
Yes, I like it. Okay.
I like that.
Okay, Sadie, thank you for
Yes.
bringing that up. Okay, I'm gonna, I have a few slides I want to share. I just have to pull them up here. I'm having some challenges with my device right now.
I'm just watching. Very entertained.
I'm glad you think of it that way. Okay. So a couple things. So on Friday, so we had no students attended Friday. Wasn't that wonderful? It's a rare occasion where we don't use a snow day,
My kids were like, okay, maybe snow days aren't that great.
you know, so.
Right, guys?
So three, Andy, you put them to work?
Yeah.
What will you put them to work?
Yeah.
So,
I didn't.
so some of us were working
Yeah.
and so
You
I
noticed the
I
lots.
brought a team, took a team to Ridgefield where we did this reunification exercise. Reunification is when you have some sort of a situation that happens in a building or in a district and you have to evacuate. And then the reunification is when the students are connected with their families.
Okay.
So what we did is we were at Ridgefield High School, and this was Clark County. Lots of districts were represented. The bottom left picture, that doesn't even really tell the story. There are a lot of people in this room. This was put on by ESD 112 in coordination. That's Karina on the right, who's sharing some information. She supports us through ESD 112, our safety team. And so this process of, we have this situation that happens, the students get loaded on buses. I had a role, so myself, Jay Bennett and Ellen Lancaster in the top right, that picture, those are teammates of ours. Our roles were parents. So what we did is once we heard where the reunification site was, the family site, then we drove there and we got in line and then we got to go through the process of being reunited with our students. And so everyone has a role. You have a piece of paper that says this is what your role is. And so there were probably a dozen roles and you don't train somebody and then assign it to them for when this goes down. It's you have this paperwork and so you know where you're gonna go. And then what happens is the person who's in the lead of that location will hand out the roles. Because you can't practice for something and then
Right,
that person's not there.
right.
Maybe they're a parent themselves and maybe they were injured or something happened or they were out that day. So we're gonna be doing something like this. We'll go through this, train our staff. I don't know that we'll do what they did. because they're inviting, numerous districts, but we're in the process of working through what does our reunification look like for a site? What does it look like for the district? So I appreciated them putting it on. And that's what we did. So it was also Matt Hutton, Mark Castle, Jessica Beener, were part of the team that went.
Was Cressa there, like the?
Yes, the Krista was there, exactly, yes, yep, they were. Lots of law enforcement, first responders were there. So on Saturday, if you were out and about, you might have noticed we had students on downtown from I think right around 9:30 or maybe 10 to late afternoon, like 2:30, 3-ish for the drug take back program that Unite has multiple opportunities for community members to turn in their prescription drugs, vitamins, different drugs. So I was there. So this is just the bottom left is part of the team that led. We have staff members, we have volunteers that are associated with the Unite board members. And one of the individuals who shared with me, who's a part of the Unite leadership team, also works with EST 112 as a part of the helping with the grant. He said, we have a lot of students who participate, and that's rare. So here we were, most of the individuals holding the signs pointing to where this was, which was the Washougal Police Department. Those were students giving up their Saturday to support this very important opportunity for community members. And so there were a lot of people dropping off. And so that kind of the middle picture is a car. I blocked out the license plate, so you can't tell, but that's where it is. Cars go in, drop off what they have, and then drive out. On their way out, we have students. There's a couple survey questions if they want to. How'd you hear about it? Have you done this before? Those types of things. So, and then the picture to the right of where the car is, that's Riley, who's one of our Washougal Police Department officers, who's a Washougal graduate. So it's always great to see him. And then those students on the right, you may recognize Jocelyn.
Mhm.
Who's one of
Student
our
rep.
reps, yeah.
Yeah.
She is so involved with Unite and so much
Yeah.
time that she volunteers, and just a great message and great story. And the top right, those are for the officers that were there on Saturday. Then we got good news, and Jacob will tell us more about this when our next board meeting. But so our FBLA team did really well. And I think he talked about they're going to Spokane, so they went to Spokane. And so we have two people that placed, 1/8 and 1/2. The one that Liberty, who placed second, is going to, of course, qualify for nationals. So now we're working on what that looks like, and that's the end of June, early July in San Antonio. So what a great experience for all those students. And our chapter received recognition. So that was in Spokane. So thanks to Rose and Nicole Simic and other staff that are involved in this opportunity for our students. And so appreciate that real world experience that they had. And I think about like our 5th graders today and that experience they had is like public speaking. I didn't tell them that it was recorded. But I mean, wow, that was impressive, Yeah. So congratulations to FLA and our students, all their hard work as it has paid off. Okay, so I wanted a couple things I want to talk about. Also mentioning some articles that have been in the Columbian, the one that was picked up by multiple media sources was the one on what we're doing with our campus. And I know that I had multiple people ask me about that, not school district staff, not my teammates, not community members, yes, community members, but not about this article, but people outside of Washougal. On Friday, when I was there, multiple people mentioned to me the article and understand what we're doing. So kudos to Les and the communications team for putting together this information, as well as the article that was in the Columbian on TK. And so two things that are really impacting us, also impacting other school districts. Other school districts having the same concerns that we have with our sites, our school sites being open to the public, and how challenging it is. We're talking about with pets. It's also with anyone who's that we don't know, that our staff that don't know who they are.
Yep.
As they're coming onto our campuses. So appreciate our team, appreciate the way that article was written, now was presented, because I think it's easy to understand, although people are challenged with it. I think it would be really, I have no problem with what we have done, why we have done it, spending the resources that we have, that it's safer as a result of it. And so we're continue to work through that, but just appreciate so much, Les and his team and the message. And then as Sadie, as you talked about, next week, teacher appreciation, and teacher, that includes all of our so our certificated staff.
Yes.
So our counselors, our psychs, our occupational therapists, so not just our classroom teachers, but all of our certificated staff. And so we have a survey that went out. There was a communication today where people can share something positive about individual teachers and ESA staff. Appreciate them. We'll be inviting our WAE leadership to the next board meeting so we can say to them in public how much we appreciate that they're doing and representing all of our teachers.
Amazing.
We do. It's great stuff. Yep. So appreciate what they do on a daily basis, the impact they're having. That's all.
Is that all you have?
You know what? Actually, one more thing.
kidding.
Thing.
Wait for it.
This little postcard, again, that Les has helped put this together, is what's going out to all of the neighbors around the high school Gaz Excelsior property.
Oh, nice.
So they get a little postcard that just impresses upon them that we really want to work together. Just what the expectations are, the adjustments, and it's always been a closed campus.
Right.
And just
Re-education.
yeah, re-education, and we have the dog there with the leash intentionally, because that's important that when they bring pets onto our campus, they need a leash.
Yeah.
And they need little doggy bags for when they make a mess.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
The Crow Park. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So that'll go out
I
this
just.
week. Yeah, they're nice.
No way to enforce
Yeah.
it. So.
I'm a little bummed it's not my dog, because he would have fit perfectly on that, but
Oh.
maybe the next one. Yeah, it's okay.
Next time.
He's not as cute as that dog. All right.
Right,
That's it.
that's it. So we have got no comments, future agenda items. Anybody?
We're gonna be
We've got-
sharing information about Roe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next.
Yep. All right, board evaluation, it will be sent out and it is 8:02. Meeting is. Oh God, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay.
Aye.
I always just want to be done.
All right, thank you.
Here to help.
Now you do the gap.